What is up, everybody? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies that help make this show possible. First and foremost is my friends over at CompanyCam. I know a lot of you are technicians and you can't make this decision, but you should be beating on your boss's desk saying, we fucking need CompanyCam. Guys, CompanyCam is amazing. I have used it. I have made sure that we've used it, that every company that I have ever managed. If you ask anybody that uses it, they will tell you how amazing that it is. So I'm sharing a different screen tonight. Yes, we know that you can capture video and photos, which is amazing as far as how it organizes it based on the individual projects. You know who took that photo, where they took it, what time they took it. So you get the CYA, you cover your ass if a customer's like, oh, they never went down here or they didn't do this. Oh, well, it looks like John was down here at, 442 and it looks like he was in your basement. Very, very awesome. You can do annotations. You can mark, gas line goes here. We're replacing this ductwork, all that kind of stuff in there. Galleries and timelines to be able to share before and after to your customers. It's built-in templates. You just drag and drop the pictures you want to use and you can share it. But the best thing is the communication between the team. We've used this with install and the sales department. Maybe it's installers are using it. Service guys are using it, to show different things that happen on jobs, all the integrations it has, the in-app communication, the tags and labels. Now, if you need better notes, it has AI built in to give you amazing notes that look perfect every single time. Guys, CompanyCam is amazing. I'm telling you, it can add on to any one of the CRMs, FSM, whatever you want to call it. All the different softwares out there, it can communicate and it is absolutely amazing. So I'm telling you, go to your boss, especially if you're in the residential field, even like commercial, maybe not industrial. It probably still would work. But I would go to your boss and say, hey, this app is absolutely amazing. I think I need to look into it. And if they do, go ahead and go to www.companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored, and they are going to give you a free, I'm pretty sure it's a 14-day trial. I forget, sorry. 14-day trial, absolutely free. Then if you like it, they're going to give you 50% off your first 2 months. Go check it out, man. This thing is absolutely amazing. Go check out my friends over at CompanyCam. And if this goddamn computer stopped asking for my password, next is going to be, yes, let me change your socks. I know rookies probably bitching about these expensive socks. Oh, well, these socks are fucking amazing. I'm telling you right now. Thank you to everybody who has bought them. Just so you know, when I worked out this sponsorship, I didn't do it based monetarily. I did it to be able to find a discount. It's only 10%, but 10% is better than nothing because these socks are cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. You can look on the screen right here and see some of these prices as far as what it's built in with different bundles. But the one thing right here that I want to show you, it has a high boot sock, a crew sock, and then an ankle sock. Guys, these socks are fucking amazing. I'm going to tell you that right now. They are worth every penny. Should you go buy, 50 pairs? No. But hey, buy 7 pairs. Get enough to wear, through the week. You can wear these in the winter. They're going to keep your foot warm. Okay? You wear them in the summertime. They're going to keep your foot cool. You're out there, you're sweating. Your foot's going to be dry when you get home at the end of the day. It's not going to smell like Bigfoot's dick. We all know that. You take the boot off in the summertime, your socks soaking wringing wet, your foot's all crinkled up like you've been in the water, and your boot smells like ass. Well, those days are over. These socks are made out of an alpaca wool. These are merino wool. It's something like that. But they're absolutely amazing. I love these things. And to be honest, when they first got sent to me, I didn't have high hopes. I'm like, they're socks. I've never really worried about socks. Guys, these socks are amazing. I challenge any of you to go buy a pair. They are absolutely awesome. These are the only thing that I wear for work. Now I'm even trying to get more to just wear them all the time because that's how comfortable they are and how they make my feet feel. So I always say, everybody wants to worry about the boots they wear. Yes, that's great. You should wear comfortable boots because you're on your feet all day, but we should also be worried about the socks that you put inside of them. If you go down into the description of this video, there will be a link that you can use. You can copy and paste that to save 10% on your order. If not, I'm pretty sure it's just uncensored. If you go to the Campbell City Mill website and use the discount code uncensored, it will save you 10%. That being said, enough paying the bills. Let's get on with the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KB Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, Gil KB Jr. Here we are, another Wednesday, another hump night, and another amazing fucking show for you. Happy to be back, man. Trying to get back in a groove, man. I'm 2 Wednesdays in a row. Then we're gonna do 3. We're gonna do 4. I got some amazing guests booked. Trying to get back on this horse and get going. I want to thank everybody here who's live in the chat. Let's give some shout outs real fast before we get going. Mr. Nasty, what is up, brother? Neil C. Vids, what is up? Thank you for being here. Jason Johnson, what is up, my man? Let's see. Rookie, what is up, Scotty Too Hottie? And they're bitching the chat. It's all right. I love you anyway. Fucking shit to me all the time. I thought we were friends, you fucking dick. Mr. Zeke Warner, what is up, brother? Thank you guys for being here, man. I appreciate it. I got an awesome show for you guys tonight. This is somebody that I've been wanting to be on the show for a while, but we literally live on opposite ends of the fucking North America. So I'm so happy to finally have him on here. I've had the pleasure to be able to meet this person several times. I've been fortunate enough to sit next to him at the HVAC Tactical Awards twice. I was kind of upset this year that there was no kilt, but it happens, what are you going to do? But I'm so happy to have him on here, man. He's an amazing dude. He's doing amazing things on social media. And I thought it would be awesome to just hear his HVAC journey and just let everybody meet him if you don't already know him. I'm sure you do. If you're on Instagram and you know HVAC Strong, guys, please put your hands together for the owner of HVAC Strong Mechanical, a.k.a. HVAC Strong, a.k.a. Mr. Ben Thomson.
Hello.
Are you wearing a kilt right now?
I literally just walked in the door.
Well, I know it's like 5 o'clock where you are. See, all the California people, he feels your pain. He's just in the soon-to-be 51st state of the United States. Just kidding. That'll never happen. Just kidding.
Definitely not going to happen. But as a Scotsman living in Canada, I really couldn't give a fuck, to tell you the truth.
I'm glad you said that, man. So first of all, everybody, Mr. Ben Thomson, want to thank him for being on the show. If you guys follow Instagram, HVAC Strong, that is Ben. I know when I said Ben, a lot of people think that I'm talking about Ben from HVAC Tactical, but hey, I have other friends named Ben, okay? Just so you know.
I'm the better Ben
who? He's taller too. My buddy Rookie Scott, who's always with me, said I was disappointed there was no kilt this year.
There was a lot of people commented on that, but I was on family vacation, and a kilt takes up a lot of space, but it's also way too fucking hot in Florida to be wearing a kilt. As much as everyone thinks there may be a breeze gets up there, when it's humid and hot outside, it makes no difference whatsoever.
How was that at Chicago? You were to Chicago, didn't you?
Yes.
How does that work? Nuts frozen?
No, man. Like, yes, you get a breeze up there, but there's so much material in a kilt that it keeps you surprisingly warm. And that's why it's nice to get a breeze up there, because it lets everything kind of just flow as it should, let's say. No, I just couldn't do it in Florida. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, no. It was
I wore extra tight pants instead.
Hey, nothing wrong with tight pants. And it was actually hot this year. So when I was at Orlando the last time it was there, it was like fucking 50 degrees. I was like, this
that would have been perfect.
Yeah, but it was bullshit. I'm like, it's cold as balls here, man. I was trying to go to warmer weather. So
Yeah, but when I left the house, it was negative 18 Fahrenheit. And then I get down to Florida and it was like, 90, was it 90s? I think it made it up to 90s, 91 or something.
I think it did get close to the 90s. It was at least in the mid to high 80s every day. It was,
which for me is hot.
Yeah, I bet when it's negative 18.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I wanted to tell you, you live in Prince George, Canada. I live in Prince George's County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, for now, I'm getting ready to move back out of here. But yeah, that's I saw that and I was like, that's pretty funny. Before we get in, because I want you to tell a little bit about yourself and your story. But now I'm curious when you opened about your Scottish background. So are you from Scotland and moved to Canada, or how did that journey happen?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Scotland. I moved to North America in 2017. I actually moved to Texas originally, and then to Seattle, then to Vancouver in Canada, and then to where I am now.
Nice.
So a lot of we moved, what's that, 4 times in the space of 5 years or something. It was ridiculous.
Nice. So what did you what made you go to Canada? What did you dislike about the States versus going to, because I just find that as an ironic story that somebody comes from Scotland to the States and then to Canada. You know what I mean? It's kind of a different path.
Yeah, so I actually moved to the States with my ex-wife. And when I moved to Seattle, I was working there, and then I happened to meet my now wife, who lived in Vancouver. So it was kind of a bit of a process to get my visa, because I had just got my green card, and then I had to get my work visa to move up to Vancouver. So that was a whole a process, as I said. And then I moved up, and then Vancouver is just crazy expensive. Just way too expensive. And we wanted to buy a house, and obviously we had our kid and all this kind of stuff. And my wife's best friend of a long time lives up here, and her kid's the same age as ours, and all these sorts of things, and it's affordable. And so, that's why we made the move to where we are now, which, if anyone wonders, I am classed as Northern BC. So I'm a 10-hour drive north from Vancouver. But actually we're the center of BC. It's just, there's not much fucking further north.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I've see, that's why I love hearing people's story, man. I guess I'm kind of lame. I'm born and raised in good old Baltimore, Maryland. This is, I mean, I've traveled, I've seen other places, but this is where I've lived. And I would love to be honest. I would love Maryland's. I love it because it's home, but I would love to leave here. But now with everything going on, it's going to be a little hard because, with the divorce happening, I got to be close to my children. That's
sure.
That's why I wake up every day.
I get that. Unfortunately, I have 2 kids with my ex, so they still live in Texas, which, is difficult. Definitely difficult. But when we broke up, they were super young. We were in the States. I didn't really have a lot of money, all those sorts of things, which we discussed divorce and all that, the tactical, it's never an easy choice. I can provide for them better now, with the situation I have than I ever could. And, it never gets easier. Definitely never gets easier. But as I said, I'm in a much better place now where I can be more available for them mentally as well as financially and all those sorts of things, right? So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's good to hear, and I like hearing those positive stories, because I don't know what the future is going to hold you. As much as you think that you want to try to, especially as I like to be in control of situations, I'm not in control of this. I can think that I am, but whatever's going to happen is going to happen, So sure. I love hearing, stuff like that. I'd love to hear how you begun your HVAC journey, and then getting into the trade to all the way to go into having your own business.
Sure. I know some people have maybe heard me talking on other podcasts about it, but I started off. I grew up on a farm. I've always worked. My dad was a general contractor. when I left school early, I kind of said to him, I want to be, in the trades with you. And actually, he told me to fuck off and get a proper job, is what he told me. But I ended up going to college and doing a drafting course. So I'm actually a trained draftsman as well. And I ended up getting a job at a oil and gas based HVAC company doing industrial commercial. And so that's how I got started in HVAC, was just doing kind of like layout drawings, 3D modeling, all these sorts of things. And then I got bored of that real quick, sitting in an office, just not my style. And I kind of said that to my boss, and he said, well, if you want to sign up to do your apprenticeship, I'll send you off to work on the oil rigs. And that's exactly what I did. So from quite a young age, I was running projects on oil rigs. I was going out doing surveys, planning the jobs, getting all that stuff sorted. And I ended up working all over the world doing that. I worked in Malaysia, Russia, Nigeria, all over the North Sea. And then when I moved to North America, it was when I got kind of introduced to more of the residential side. Because back home, we don't really have residential HVAC. It's kind of just boilers. Which is all done by plumbers. HVAC guys don't touch boilers back home. And so that was kind of how I got into the residential, like commercial style of things. Did that for a couple of years in the States, a couple of years in Vancouver. And then, during COVID, I had just moved, or just before COVID, I just moved to a different company. And we were going to be having our baby. COVID hit. And that was kind of the end of that. And I had spoken for a long time about starting my own company, because my wife was getting fed up of me bitching about, having to deal with the companies I was at and how they wanted things done and how I wanted to do things. And she was like, look, we saved up money. Why don't you just take it? Go get a fucking van. Like, enough guys, you can subcontract, you can do whatever and just do your own thing. And that was kind of how it all started, and it's kind of been a whirlwind from there, as running your own business always is.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love hearing that kind of story. Normally, so here, when you see mechanical in somebody's name, so are you doing like, more residential, like commercial stuff? Or because, to backtrack, the reason I say that is around here, normally when you see mechanical in a name, it's more of commercial. That's
sure. And that's just kind of our business name. We just go by HVAC Strong usually, right? But we do, as I said, I serve my time doing industrial commercial, so I can do all that. We do residential, obviously, but most of our focus is on residential, like commercial, doing install, service, maintenance, all those sorts of things. But I mean, if bigger projects come along that we can, handle, then we can certainly take those on.
Nice. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. I'm curious because, like I said, somebody that's only ever worked in the United States, I have always thought that I love Canada's, I guess, like laws or what they do with the trades as far as, certifications and stuff like that. I think that they're so much further ahead than the United States. I didn't know until I started doing this podcast that there is only, I want to say it's 18 out of 50 states that actually require licensing. And that is shocking. So I would just love to know your opinion on the difference between the two and how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a huge difference. When I started, working in residential, and I've made it very clear to everybody, I didn't know residential HVAC. I'd never seen a furnace, we don't have them back home. I literally got stuck with an apprentice. He fucking knew more than I did about furnaces. I was taking manuals home, reading them every day, so I could learn. And they were happy with that. They were just like, you can do the work, as long as everything is to code, and, your vent pipes are graded properly and your tin's good and all this kind of thing. They were cool with it. So I completely understand that. Whereas here, like, you have to be ticketed. You have to have, like you go through school. It's a 4-year process. You get what they call your red seal, which is, being a fully like certified technician. So like I had all my tickets from back home. So here, what you have to do is you have to challenge your exam. And if you can pass your exam, then they'll give you your red seal and whatnot. But like you also, like there's getting your gas ticket, so you can do natural gas and all those sorts of things as well, right? Whereas, as you say, in the States, it's a little more what we call cowboy back home, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still some very good technicians who have no certification. They can probably diagnose, stuff much better than a guy who's learned out of a book. But yeah, there's definitely a huge difference, and I think California, you have to have, your tickets, and you have to get, pass an exam to get a business license and all these sorts of things, which is a good process, right? I just wonder if they rolled that out in every state, how much of a knock-on effect that would have to trades, right? And the amount of people in the trades.
Yeah, like I do love that Maryland, like you have to have an apprentice, journeyman, master. So I have my master HVAC license, and then I have my gas fitters license. And
Sure.
But like Pennsylvania, right above, no license. Trust me, I got a brother-in-law, which I don't even want to call him brother-in-law. I don't like that sister either. But anyway, he's in Pennsylvania hacking it up because
Sure.
you can literally just, get a van and you're rocking and rolling. So, and to your point before, some of the best true mechanics that I have ever met in this industry don't have a license. So I definitely agree that you don't need that, but I do feel like if the United States had like something that was federal that went through all the states to mandate it, it would just raise us up a little bit and let these shit bags fall from the bottom.
Sure.
If they just made the standards a little bit better, but I don't know. I feel like I don't see that happening, but I wish that they would, that just have some kind of license, some kind of mandate that makes the rest of us that bust our ass to be good at what we're doing, stand out a little bit.
Well, it's like even like NATE certification. Like, I don't know what that 100% what that means, but like I understand it's to do with refrigeration and all those sorts of things, or like gas handling and stuff. So like even if they made that a state, all state sort of thing, it would still force guys to have to at least get some sort of certification in order to do the work, right? So I mean, in my eyes, any sort of, maybe obviously it can go to the extreme, but having some restriction and mandated certification is always a good thing in my eyes. We have a lot of specific cities, especially down in Vancouver, where there's a lot of unticketed guys run around and do a lot of shit work. And it happens everywhere. I find shit up here all the time that's just crazy. And this being a smaller city was a lot less regulated for a long time. It just kind of got forgotten about, whereas now they're trying to crack down on it a bit more. So there's definitely still some cowboys out there, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. There's a little bit of that everywhere. Shit, I forgot where I was gonna go with that. Fuck, total brain fart. But I will. You could move to June. Yeah, I'll go to Germany. That's fine. Somebody in the comments, sorry. So now we see that. So how was it? How was the process of you starting your business? I mean, how many employees do you have now that work for you?
We got 4 now, including myself. And I have another guy hopefully going to start in April, another journeyman. And so it's been that getting employees has been the hardest fucking struggle ever. Like there's such a trade shortage. It doesn't matter where you are, like back home as well, there's a huge trade shortage. And it's going to get worse, I would suspect, before it gets any better, if it gets better. But the business side of things was very, I don't never mean to seem big headed, but it was very easy. So as I said, I did a lot of subcontracting. I have a lot of friends in Vancouver who kind of knew me through Instagram already, or like guys that I'd met. So I did a lot of subbing to start with, which is great. As I made a post on Instagram about, a little while ago, if you're starting a business, because it's your cash flow, right? And then, as my own work started to build up, I'm kind of moved away from that a bit more. Yeah, it was actually really, really good. It's just, as I said, the struggle of getting guys in order to keep up with demand has been impossible. So it's really nice now that, I have a journeyman who is from back home as well. Actually, he's from England. He works fucking super hard. He's got his head screwed on. He does great work. He understands like my vision and what I'm trying to do and what we want to produce and put out there. Our apprentices work super hard as well. They're good. They're really good kids. One of them just finished second year at school. And yeah, so it's nice to finally be able to grow and develop a team who kind of understand what we're trying to do,
Nice. That's awesome. I'm surprised to hear you say that the business side was easy, because that's kind of one of my specialties that I've grown, is because normally, I always say you have people that are really good technically, and then there's business, and they're two different skill sets. So that's the problem when people mesh them together. So to you to say it was easy is awesome and shocking, because most people say the opposite. Why do you think that it was so easy for you?
Well, like I said, I grew up on the farm, but my dad was a general contractor as well, right? And he ran his own business for 46 years or something like that, 45, I think, so like my mom always did the accounts. My dad was always, running his own business. He explained a lot of stuff to me on how to do things. And so I think I took a lot of that in. My wife does my accounts, which is nice. So, if there's something slipping or, profitability is dropping off or whatever, she brings that to my attention, pretty quick. But just like, I like to think I'm pretty personable. So like selling jobs is or selling work, I should say, is fairly easy. You're just selling yourself, right? Like you are the business. So, just making it clear to customers that you're not just leaving them high and dry is kind of a main thing, which I think a lot of guys forget about. But it's just about being organized. Like I've been doing a lot of business tips. People ask me for videos on that, and I explained that it's the same thing. A lot of guys are good at doing the work. The back end stuff is the difficult part. So if you can be organized and be responsive via email and phone and whatever, which yes is the most overwhelming thing I probably deal with, is the emails, the texts, the calls, the voicemails, all that shit. If you can try and just be on top of it, then it's pretty easy to get, or it should be fairly easy to get a business rolling, right? The first thing you can do to piss off a customer is not get back to them.
Yep.
Right. So like, just be responsive. If listen to the customer, if they're telling you what they want, then it's fairly easy to give them what they want. Right. Like you just have to listen, and be willing to go that extra mile, and do the good work, put pride in your work, and it shows. And especially where I am, word gets around really quick. There's only 80,000 people here now. Right. So, our reputation, especially up here in the last 3 years, has solely just been built on fucking doing good work and being responsive, right? Because a lot of the companies up here have been here for a long time and they're very comfortable, let's say.
Yep.
So like I constantly get told, oh, you give me an estimate the same day. They're like, that's amazing. Like I contacted that one company, they came, they looked at the job, 2 weeks later, they still haven't given me an estimate. Right. So it just defeats the purpose, be responsive, just be organized. Like, fuck, it's not that difficult. Like it's overwhelming. If you've got too much work coming in, just say no. And that took me a long time to learn. Like if you've got too much work or you can't keep up with what you're doing, just learn to put brakes on things a little bit and just do it at your pace. Right. Until you can get more into the swing of actually, running a business.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I agree 100%, man. It's one of the things that I teach when I talk to people is, um, I get it when you first start out. Maybe you're a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean? Because you're just trying to get the doors going. But sometimes you're going to outgrow those customers because if you know, you should want to do quality work, and you are selling yourself, and that's what people just want, somebody that's honest, that's going to tell them the truth, that's not going to bullshit them. Because let's be
Yep.
honest, a lot of these companies out there, they're trying to sell them something. They're coming in the door. It's all bullshit. And these people, that's what they think everybody is. So when somebody comes in like you or I, or, you know, these guys in the chat that I know personally, it's like a breath of fresh air. They're like, oh, I didn't know that you guys still exist, you know, because it's, you know, they call these big companies because of the security, you know, there's somebody to sue if something goes wrong and shit like that. But I love hearing that the business side was good. And I guess I'll ask you at the end, does your wife have her like do this accounting stuff like on the side and have like her own job, or is this
Yeah.
what she does?
No, she's a photographer as well. So she has her own business as a photographer. She also has a photography studio that she it's like a free use space, so she rents it out to other photographers and things as well. And she does my accounting. So we're kind of getting to the point now where I need to get a bookkeeper so that she can free up for her own stuff. You know, but that's just been a work in progress as we grow as a business. So you know, there's a lot of things I'm trying to put into play now that we actually have a business out with myself and an apprentice, so that it can be a more finely tuned machine, and actually, you know, let's say look like a business, you know what I mean? Look like a company, rather than just kind of, we've got a bunch of guys, but we're still running it as a one-man show, you know, because I just want to make it streamlined for everybody. Because I'm having to work on the part of now I have to be a boss, you know, and run a business more than before, rather than just, okay, I do the paperwork and emails at nighttime, I work my ass off during the day, and that continues. Now it's kind of like, okay, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. I have to be in the office or go do estimates and whatever, and I have to kind of not sit back and relax, but sit back a bit more and deal with the other stuff rather than being on the tools all the time, where I would prefer to be, but you know, can't always do that.
Yeah. It's when you got to start working on the business and not in the business. That's kind of the
Yeah, exactly.
only way to grow. And that's a sad part for some people, because it was for me, because I love the tool side. I love the
Yep.
fixing things. And that's what I grew up in. My dad did. I grew up in this fucking trade, man. But as you rise up, you realize, okay, well, that's not where I'm supposed to be. If I'm going to help this place grow, I need to be in here. And I remember when I was first in the office, it was like the clock was like tick, tick. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, it should be like 1 o'clock, man. You know, and you look up and you're like, it's 8:45. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy, but it's a process. But and I think I told you, I think that I'm thinking about it finally. I feel like I've made a lot of other men rich in my career. So I do think it's finally that I do start my own. I think it gets me back into the field a little bit to do some of that. But obviously, if I'm doing it right, it won't be for too long,
Yep.
because then I'll be working, you know, on the business. But we'll see. It's just a lot of stuff going on that I don't know if I can do it right now. But I
Totally.
think I may do it. It's something I've always wanted to do. I'm only 41, so what the fuck, you know? It's never too late.
Don't know if you don't try, right?
Exactly. I mean, I've ran multi-million-dollar companies for other people, so it's not like I haven't done it. I just haven't
Yeah.
been the top guy. I've been the second guy.
Sure.
But my turn next, Gil. Hey, you know where I am, Zeke. Um, Zeke is awesome, man. I love that dude. I went over the summer when I left Beltway, which was hard. I did love that place, but it was a natural progression that had to happen. I went and trained two of his young guys, man. I fucking loved every minute of it. Riding in the truck and doing stuff with them. Now both those guys are kicking ass. I that's the most fun I've had in a while because I was able to use tools, but I felt like I was helping to shape the younger generation. You know,
Totally.
yeah, they were good kids. Um, but I will ask you this: I do find that did you have trouble pricing your jobs? Because that's what a lot of newer guys do. They do it so cheap and they're busy, and then they run around all this time. They look in the bank and realize, "Fuck, I didn't make any money."
Yeah, like so the company I worked at in Vancouver was one of the biggest residential companies in Vancouver. And they were Service Titan based. And because I was like the head installer kind of like tech there, I got to see or got to talk to the boss a lot more about like pricing and profitability and all these sorts of things. And like my dad didn't raise no fool. So like he kind of explained, as I said, he taught me a lot of stuff. So he explained, about pricing jobs and all these sorts of things. So I would say obviously my prices have gone up from where they were originally because now
As
I have
they
more.
should.
I got more overheads and like we do fucking really good work, right? Not that I didn't before, but just when your reputation builds, unfortunately, business is business and your price goes up. But no, I was never miles off on my pricing. I knew kind of where it needed to be. And I kind of, did it a bit less than what I maybe should have to begin with. But I never was, making no money or making minimal percentage, let's say. As I said, I'm Scottish, I'm dumb, I'm not stupid, right? So there's one thing I've always been able to do, and that's count money. So it worked out pretty well from the beginning.
Good. I love hearing that because, like I said, normally I don't hear it often. What's up, Leon? Good to see you, buddy. Free and Leon. Um, yeah, because a lot of times when I hear these people who start their businesses, that the business side is one of the issues that I hear. So that's awesome that it wasn't like that for you. I guess now I'll ask you this from the HVAC side: is what got you into social media and how has that journey been for you?
Yeah, I mean, I really just started. It was when I still worked in Vancouver at the company. I literally just started posting my installs. Right, that's literally how it began. I just started. I used to do a lot of weightlifting, and my page was all about lifting weights and being a lunk and all this kind of shit. And then I was like, well, I'll start posting some work and see if people like it. And everybody was the community is so big, everyone was really receptive and liked it and whatnot. And it just kind of went from there. And then I kind of moved to making my business page and getting people to follow that. And it's just kind of built from there. People, I post a lot of my installs. People I think want to see more videos nowadays of me explaining things, which is cool. I understand. But sometimes especially when I was just myself and an apprentice, you're grinding all day. Like it's not easy to set up a camera and explain shit and what you're doing and all these kind of things. You got to get stuff done. So now I'm hoping to try and make some more kind of reels or videos, explaining what we're doing, why we do it, all these sorts of things, or like go and film the guys doing it and explain why they're doing certain things. But yeah, the transition into that was okay. It's a bit different. I'm not as I explained to you before we started, technology is not my friend. Growing up on a farm, we didn't really have anything. So I can barely use a computer. Using my phone is difficult enough at times. So that's something I need to probably work on a little bit. You've probably got a plethora of shit that you have used for your podcasts and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't do it.
I got too much money sitting in here.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of shit you don't need, sadly. But and I've only built it up now only because the podcast does pretty well financially. And from a business, you got to spend money. I got to show that I'm buying things. But yeah, I'm good with Mac. Like I told you before, you put me on a PC, I don't know what I'm doing. So I've gotten pretty good with Mac, and I'll never switch just for that reason because it all connects. Like I can be on my my Mac Studio down here, and then I can go on my MacBook and just finish, and be on my iPad and go on to my iPhone. So that's what I like. Is the simplicity of it. It makes it easy. So it's definitely helped. Plus, for the whole like audio editing, video editing, that's Mac's kind of built for that. I mean, it's so it's worked out. What are these guys talking about?
People talking about HouseCall Pro and stuff like that. So I haven't made the jump to using HouseCall Pro or Service Titan, because I think Service Titan is I won't get into it too much, but I think it's a fucking scam. I am going to
that.
Yeah, I'm going to be going and using Jobber. They reached out to me. I've tried it, used a trial and whatever, and they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to use it, part of social media and make a video and all this kind of stuff. And I really do want to, because I think it's going to be good once again for getting things greased and running well. Because currently I literally use my Apple Calendar on my phone, and I schedule all the shit on my phone. And then I tell the guys their schedule for the week, because most of the time they're doing installs. I run the service calls. So like I'll send them, these are your jobs for the week. Here are the job numbers, addresses, all this shit. But obviously that's not the best process when you've got a couple guys that you need to sort out. And it's lacking in notes and stuff like that sometimes, right? So I'm going to be moving to Jobber so we can track things a bit better.
That's good. And you should, man. That's what these things are built for. So, rookie, egg on your face. I know all of these programs. I've used them. I've seen them. I've had my hands on them. I would say the one that I've used the least is probably Jobber, but I've heard nothing but good things about them. Real fast, when it comes to Service Titan, I don't think Service Titan is garbage, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I think that it's overpriced. I think that it has a whole bunch of features that people don't use.
Yep.
The reports are inaccurate, and you have to have somebody that is literally in that software 24/7, or shit's going to get fucked up. I think if you're starting out, I 100% recommend HouseCall Pro. Yeah, they're a sponsor, but regardless, the ease of use, you can literally get in there, be up and running in no time, and you don't have to be a fucking computer scientist to figure it out. I have heard the same thing about Jobber, and I was also going to say that you should do that. That's one of the benefits, especially when you have a business or whatever with social media, is to be able to try these things. And who knows, maybe they make you a partner. You don't have to pay for it. You get it discounted or for free.
Yeah.
Like that's how business works. You should.
Which I think we're going to be getting it for free. So like it makes sense. I've used HouseCall Pro. When I did some subbing, one of the companies had HouseCall Pro and they signed me up to it so that they could send me my jobs and stuff. So I have used it as well. The benefit I think with Jobber for me is we use QuickBooks for everything. So the integration between Jobber and QuickBooks is really good. So it should be a transition from just using QuickBooks to using both or one or the other should be fairly easy. And once again, you don't have to sit 24/7 to fucking run it, so that's just my thoughts. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe I won't like it as much, but once again,
HouseCall Pro does it too with QuickBooks.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They constantly spam call me, which I think pissed me off more. But no shade on them. They're just doing their job. But yeah, I think that pissed me off more than anything because I literally told them like, I'm going to Jobber. And then they called me, the same fucking guy called me the next day and was like, hey, do you want to try out HouseCall Pro? And I'm like, no, I fucking told you yesterday. And he was like, yeah, I have it in my notes. And I was like, so why are you calling me then? Like, go fuck yourself. That annoys me because that takes time out of my day. Right. Whereas Jobber hasn't called me once. They sent me an email. Actually, they sent me a message on Instagram and then they sent me an email and they were like, we want to hook up with you and do this, that, the next thing. Get back to us when you can. And I was like, okay, sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. So Jobber did reach out to me too, and I've heard nothing but good things. But at the time they reached out to me, it wasn't solely my decision to switch. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I have heard good things, and that sucks that House Call Pro did that, because I've had those calls too from companies that I agree with. They're good companies. And I've called higher ups and been like, hey, I just want to let you know that this is the phone conversation that I just had with one of your employees. Like, I get it that they probably make commission based on sales, but one of them was like offensive to my girls in the office. And like, I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, I told you I wasn't in the office and you call in like they're lying to you. I told you that I would get back to you. You don't got to call every fucking day. Now I don't even want your service. I'm not interested. Like, you just turned me off.
Yep. 100%. Right. And I'm not a fan of fucking junk calls. It drives me insane. And we get so many of them.
It was Podium. Yeah. And I believe in Podium. I think they're good.
Don't get me fucking started on the guy from Podium calling me as well. Like, I blocked his number and he called me from a different number.
Yeah.
So I blocked that one and then got caught. And yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah, which sucks, because I think Podium is good for what they do as far as getting reviews and stuff like that. Like, it is good. But dude, that guy just turned me off. And I know some higher ups there, and I reached out to them and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, yeah, well, it's too late now, man. Like, I already have a service and I don't even want to switch now. Like, that
has the same fucking experience, same company.
Yeah. I like those personal relationships. Like, we used what is it, Review Buzz.
Yep.
I was where was I? I think I went to what's the other more business convention. Service. It was in Louisville. I forget what it's called, but his name's like Mike Montoya or something. We met the owner of Review Buzz. We're hanging out with him. The guy was just a cool fucking dude. He wasn't trying to sell us anything. Like, we just had an awesome time hanging out with him. And then he said, hey, if I can ever help you, like, this is what I do. That's all he ever said. Gave us his card, paid for the whole night and everything. And then we were like, that made me want to try his product because he was a good dude. And we stayed there. And that's what we did. So how you said about when it comes back to the HVAC work, you're selling yourself and, the work. It should be the same way with all these other avenues that people are doing. And I feel like they would make out so much better than trying to push this shit down your throat. You know what I mean?
Totally. And as I said, that was kind of my thing with jobbers. They were like, this is what, like, we want to talk to you. Take your time. We're here whenever. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool with me. Like, they know we're busy. We run businesses. So, like, that's fine. Whereas just fucking pestering me, I'm just going to tell you to fuck off. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, no, that stuff sucks. And I've used a bunch of them. And the main reason is, and I would promote Jobber like now if I did have my own thing. And I don't mind promoting different ones because there's a bunch of them out there that are great. There's not like one that's one size fits all. I mean, there's different ones, but for me, I just have to use it. Because if I haven't actually used it, like I remember I went against one of my biggest things when it comes to sponsors. Like, I turn down more money than I take because if I don't agree with your product, I'm not taking your money. I'm just totally going to do.
That's like the contracts or like agreements I have with companies, through social media. Like, everyone knows I work with Rector Seal. I work with NAVAC, all these sorts of things. I use their products. I use fucking 6 Rector Seal products every install we do. I like the product. That's why I use it. That's the main reason I work with them, is I like their stuff. And they're very receptive if I give them criticism on something. Like, they sent me a product and I opened it up and I just told them this is dog shit. Like, you need to redesign this, and I made a video of it and I put it on Instagram. And I warned them from the beginning that I would be very honest about what you send me, because that being genuine is what I think is part of who I am on Instagram. Like, I'm genuine. I talk about mental health. I talk about all these other things. Like, we're all fucking human. You and I discussed this at the tactical awards too, right? And so, like, if I use something and I like it, that's the thing, right? I don't want to just be like, use this fucking product. I've never used it before, but you should go and get it. That's not genuine. That's just bullshit.
Yeah. And sadly, there's some of them out there.
100%.
Yeah, but it's I think most of the good guys out there aren't like that. That they are, like us. I'm the same way. If I wouldn't say something about these companies for free, I'm not going to say something paid. Like I've been offered by all the other big tool manufacturers to rep them, but I don't. I'm one of the only ones who does Yellow Jacket.
Yep.
And I love that because how you just said, I'm trying to help them get back into the market share because there's amazing people and they owned it 20 years ago. You went to a supply house, that's all it was Yellow Jacket.
Yep.
I think they fell behind. But the fact they're amazing people, I want them to catch up. Not to mention that they sponsored me before I ever did one episode of HVAC Uncensored. So they believed in me, so it's loyalty. And then the other part is it's just Yellow Jacket makes me think of my dad when I got into the trade.
Sure.
Yellow Jacket stuff. So that's why I stay, and that loyalty is paid off. You know what I mean? Rookie knows we Mr. Gary, who's the vice president of marketing, is one of the coolest fucking guys you'll ever meet. That runs a cajillion company, and he literally came to me and said, "Gil, like we've been with you for so long, like I need to pay you more money." And I was like, cool. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Because I told him, I said, hey, I love working with you. I don't want money to ever be the reason that we stop. And
Sure.
he's like, because I could have gotten way more from other places, but it's awesome that he saw that. And, now I'll make out for that. But the podcast does good. I'm not hurting for it, and I don't do it for the money. But the same thing is they take my feedback. There's been products that they've used, that they've done, and I've been like, guys, this isn't it. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can't come late to the party. And if you're going to come late to the party, like Manifold, if all the other big guys have released their product and then you come a year late, you better blow everybody away. Because if you don't, then you lost. Because people have already committed to something. But I do think what this new Titan Max manifold that they have, that thing's a fucking beast. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I was having a look at that the other day.
That thing is it's sweet, man. It really is. And they took all of the listening as far as like the magnets, the hook, being ergonomic. And I've always been big on like, yes, I want it to have features, but I want it to be rugged. Like I don't want this thing to look all fancy, but the first time it falls off the shelf, it stops working.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of the stuff's like that. Like it looks great, but it breaks all the fucking time. It's like, well, that doesn't help me.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, did you see the new NAVAC gauges? Yeah. The digital analog gauges? Like that for me was sick. Like a lot of guys are like, oh, digital is the only way. And I'm like, man, but you got to remember a lot of us learned on analogs.
Yeah.
Right. So having a digital-esque analog gauge is fucking cool. Right. Because we still like seeing that pin move, Like we still like watching that. I still like using analog gauges. Not that I don't use digitals, I do all the time, but I still like using analogs. Right.
I love having both. And speaking of that, I got to remember to the thing they gave us at the Tactile Awards that you have to set.
Oh yeah, I registered mine already.
Yeah, fuck. I'm glad you said that because I forgot. I think I got it sitting on my nightstand upstairs to send that in. I know the guy said you just have to prove that like you're using it or something.
You just have to show your you scan it, you fill in your details, and you have to prove that you bought a ticket to the tactical. That's it, and then they send you it.
Oh, nice. Can't make too many videos. Might rock the boat with Yellow Jacket, but but yeah, no, I'll definitely get one. It definitely looks cool, and NAVAC is awesome. I do love some of the stuff they make, and what's cool about it is I probably could do some of their products because they make some things that Yellow Jacket doesn't. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And also, Yellow Jacket has never said that I've had to be like,
exclusive.
Yeah. It probably will get to that point with the kind of money they're talking. And I mean, I would feel that would be an expectation. But I guess I've always just felt bad. You know what I mean? Like, I love Yellow Jacket. Oh man, look at this NAVAC pump, or look at Field Piece and blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, I don't think I have Field Piece stuff, and I do not want to bash them. I do think they make good stuff. But I would never represent them. I just
breaks a lot.
Breaks a lot. And I feel like I think Tony is awesome. I've met Tony. I think he's cool. But I remember talking to some of the other engineers and just giving my feedback as somebody that's been in this fucking trade for 25 fucking years. And they looked at me like, how dare you tell me? And that just turned me off. And I'm like, yeah, well, fuck you guys, man. But
well, as a prime example with Rector Seal, like they give me this product and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like you need to change this, and this to make it a good product for somebody in the field. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, yeah, like those are all really good points. And I'm like, well, who made this? And they're like, well, an engineer designed it. And I'm like, well, fucking lo and behold, you know what I mean? Like that's the problem. But they are very receptive. Yeah, they're very receptive, which is super nice, right? So I appreciate that with them. They're super chill as well. You know what I mean? Like there's no like, you need to do this. It's like, if you make us some videos, you know, about stuff and whatever, that's cool, you know, and they like working with me. I like working with them, and that goes a long way with me.
That's awesome. I like Rector Seal. And if I do start my own company and I have to start doing those products, then maybe that would be more beneficial for me to reach out to some of those, because I'll be using them all the time as well, hands on, to actually be able to show. Because if I did it before, I was in the field. I was in my nice cushy office, so I wouldn't have been able to show their products like that. But speaking of that, with the engineers, is one of the things that I love about, you know, Yellow Jacket. Not that we're going tit for tat for fucking sponsors, but in the conversation is the fact that they're trying to grow. My rep that I was dealing with, who was running marketing, amazing lady, but she wasn't very good at her job. Let's just be honest. And they realized that now they're trying to find a new person. And I don't want to say that because she was such an amazing lady, but there's just more that could have been done. A lot of ideas that I had were never taken, didn't really hear much. So now they're trying to find a dedicated person to handle that, to help grow things. And I'm like, awesome. I have shit tons of ideas that we can do, that we can finally, you know, help this thing move the needle. And the other thing is their head engineer, Greg, was awesome. I don't know why he was let go, to be honest. He's a very, very smart man. But they brought in this new, who's actually going to be on the show in the next couple of months, a new head engineer, Eric. This guy's like 36 years old. He's an engineer. He's super smart. He's a cool guy. Me and rookie Scott had a blast sitting there talking with him. So just seeing that young, vibrant stuff to help take them into the, you know, the next generation is awesome. It makes me excited for them.
Totally. It's a very common discussion that I've had with companies as well, like marketing. The old school guys are still there, and you're like, we should do this, as you said, like we should do this. I have this idea. And they're like, nah, it doesn't really work with what we're trying to do. And you're like, well, what the fuck are you trying to do then? Like you don't have a social media presence, but you want to build it, but you don't want to do anything, you know, that people are going to like relate to or find funny or whatever. Like you're just
put ads in the phone book. I mean, like it's 2025 for Christ's sakes.
I had the exact same discussion with Continental like last year, and I ended up speaking to their VP of marketing, and he was just a fucking old school goon. You know, I've done marketing all over the world. Okay, well, this is what I'm fucking trying to do. Oh, well, no. And then this year, they've got a brand new lass who I'm talking to, and she's like, sure, let's do this, that, the next thing. And I'm like, cool, let's, you know what I mean? Let's do that, you know? So it's, yeah, I understand that process as well. It's a hard one. Sometimes you're trying to talk to somebody and they just don't get it, you know?
Yeah. And that's why I tell people, and that's one of the things, and I might even put a course together, you know, I guess maybe not influence in general, but definitely people that podcast. I guess it could be, because sponsorship. And that's one of the things that I guess being business minded, I've been very, very good at, is, you know, get what you're worth, man. We are the new people like that are publicizing these companies. And, you know, I remember at first when I first started this podcast, I mean, fucking 10 years ago now, that, you know, if I got $300, I was like, oh yeah, woo. Now it's like, if I didn't know people, I was charging them $1,000 to come on. And I was like,
sure.
And there's no guarantee I'm ever going to air this or put it out. But
Yep.
I'll send you the video and the audio, and you're free to do whatever it is. Like, to make sure these other people like do this for fun, but it is a business, and these companies will pay. It used to be these companies were paying $8,000 for a print ad in a magazine that people were never going to read, or they were going to read once and throw it away. We are producing content that is on the internet that is there forever. These companies will pay for it. Don't
100%.
undercut yourself. You can always go down. It's hard to go up.
Yep. Definitely. Like I completely agree. And that was one thing with social media. I didn't understand it really. I had a lot of followers, but I didn't really get the whole thing. And it was only the last couple of years going to AHR and talking to guys like you and Brent Wrigley at Tool Pros and all those sort of people who are like you have a good amount of followers. Like, you shouldn't be doing shit for free. Like, it's the time of, we send you a free hat and you make a video for us about our products. They're like, that's gone. And I was like, okay, cool. And that's really when things changed for me as well, right? And it was at the point where I was like reaching out to people and they're like, by the way, I ain't free anymore. Like, this is what I want. And as you say, they were like, sure, you know, they've got the money to spend.
Yeah, and you think that you're going to ask for an amount of money and they're going to be like, oh my God. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. They don't even fucking hiccup, and it's crazy. I mean, like, there's some, like, my Anchor sponsorship, it's like $10,000 a month, and these companies don't bat an eye.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah. It's, I don't have an Anchor right now. It was Blue On. Hopefully that's what Yellow Jacket is going to move into, but we'll see. Because it's time. It's the effort I put into it. It's a job, and I give them more. That's why it's like that.
Sure.
But it's crazy. I just want these people to know that stuff is not, it's not free, and these companies will do it. So I'm glad that people are learning and seeing that. And I think that's why I love about our community and everybody talking and mingling. And, like the tactical awards, I tell people, you'd think that some of these people would have egos. And actually, I'll say this story. And I think I might have said this while we were at the award show, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. If I did, I'm sorry for repeating it. But I saw a guy at a supply house here, and he knows who I am. He follows some social media stuff, and I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to the tactical awards, getting ready to go to HR. And he's like, man, the tactical awards just seems like a bunch of egotistical people. Like, I could never be there. I said, you could not be further from the truth, man. Like, that is not how it is. It is a bunch of down to earth, blue collar, fucking badass people that love what they do. I'm like, it's awesome. Like that. Not saying there's not a few of those people, but they're a very small amount. I said, like me, I mean, I'm even still a fan. Like, I remember watching, Craig Migliaccio's videos, AC Service Tech, to now, like, he's one of my really good friends, and I talk to him all the time. And I'm going to go to Jersey and hang out with him. Like, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to meet these people, like, and I know some people feel that way about me, which that feels awesome. I love it. But I still feel that way about people as well. You know what I mean? It's mutual.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And as you said, I think there's a misconception that it is all egotistical people. Like, that's not what it's about at all. It's about the community that we have, and it's more just about celebrating the community that we have. You know what I mean? Not trying to create division between, the people who are maybe bigger or whatever on social media and, people who are just getting started. Like, if you're just getting started and you want to buy a ticket to HVAC Tactile, fuck it, come along. Like, you'll have a blast. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, there is definitely still that feeling from some people, and I hear that too, right? But it's definitely a misconception for sure. You fucking come along and speak to me. I'll speak to anybody. I couldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm personable. I might be big and fucking ginger, but I'll talk to you. I'm not scary.
Yeah, no, guys, we've sit next to each other the last two awards. Hopefully that table concept stays the same, except hopefully Rookie, like, because I always buy our tickets, because he does so much for me for the podcast that he never asks for anything. So
Sure.
Like, I buy those tickets and normally pay for the hotel and all that kind of stuff as a thank you. But how I didn't know that I was going to be there until last minute because of everything going on. They didn't put Rookie at our table, so hopefully we can add Rookie, but the rest of the table rotation stays the same.
Totally.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, sorry, that's probably why he got bumped because Brian Orr was there. No offense, Brian Orr sits at your table. You're getting fucking
Brian
bumped.
Orr's fault.
Sorry, Rookie. Love you, Brian, but that's probably why you got bumped. I just thought about that because that is pretty much the same table it was the year before, minus Brian and his wife.
Yeah. I know, and everyone was like, Ben, you didn't wear your kilt. And I'm like, no. And then they're like, you're not as loud as you were last year. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm not drinking.
Yeah, I drank a little bit this year. Ended up getting drunk that night. Me, Rookie, and Everett Lipple. You know who Everett is? He does the So I Was Yeah. We went out. He said Gil set me up. We went out to what was that place called, Rookie? It was like it was an Irish karaoke bar. It was actually a fucking good time.
Nice.
Yeah, those fucking beers were going down smooth. But then I didn't drink much the rest of the time. I was eating fucking gummies, getting stoned. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah, but it all works. I forget where we went. It was like Tuesday night, and I think I took too many. I was just like,
dude, I was baked that whole fucking time. Like I've been at Disney World for 5 days with the family, so I was absolutely wrecked. So I was just like, I just got baked for fucking 2 days straight.
That's fucking funny. Well, shit, man, we're already an hour into the show. I hate that these go, and I can't be too late because got to put moms to sleep and kiss my girls goodnight, man. But,
yeah, me too. I can hear the bath running upstairs, so I'm sure I'm going to be getting a call very shortly.
Yeah, well, shit, it's what, 6:20 something where you are?
6:20, so it's dinner time. Yeah,
it's 9 something 20 here. So, brother, thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been awesome. I'm glad that we finally got to do this. I'm glad to finally meet you in person, dude. You're an awesome guy, and I definitely want to continue this friendship, dude. You are always welcome on here. You know, just hit me up, dude. I really, really appreciate what you're doing.
Sure, man. Anytime. And as I said to you at the Tactical Awards, if you ever need to reach out at any point, you know, give me a shout. Life sucks. I've been through a lot of it as well. So like, I completely understand, you know, the only way is up sometimes, right? But I'm always here for a good vent or a laugh anyway.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, dude. And matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll message you my phone number, even though it's probably fucking long distance, me and you, opposite end. But I'll send you my phone number so you have it, bro. So that way we can text or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, just moving forward.
Totally.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to close this out, man. You can hang tight if you want or go be with the kiddos, man. It doesn't matter.
Sure. Thank you very much. As you know, it was great to finally get on here and, you know, talk some shit. We've been trying to do it for a while. So thanks for having me.
Yes, of course, man. My pleasure, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Guys, please, if you are on Instagram, I probably should have asked Ben that. If you're on Instagram, go make sure you follow HVAC Strong. That is Ben. Does awesome work, puts, you know, amazing stuff out there, does things the right way, and he's just a fucking awesome guy. But like he said, man, and that's what I love about this community. I'm not going to sit here and do this poor me stuff, but all of my friends I know, but even friends that I'm getting to know more, like when they found out what I was going through, were like, hey, man, call me if you need me. They gave me a hug and stuff like that. Like some of my best friends in the world are people that don't live in my state. I want all of you to really realize that. That's why on Facebook, I've been sharing some of these relationships just to highlight them, to highlight that person and to say how much I appreciate them and those relationships that everybody thinks, oh, your best friends got to live down the street. You got to hang out all the time. And it's just not true. I'm not saying it's not good and you shouldn't have people local to you, but I've met all these amazing people, these amazing friends that don't live in my state through this trade. And I'm extremely blessed for that. I'm extremely thankful and grateful for it. And I want you guys to know that that's what these AHRs are and the tactical awards is you're building relationships. You're meeting awesome people. Yeah, you get to see tools and free shit and stuff like that. But to be honest, that's the least for me. It is the relationships part. That's why I won't miss an HR. I won't miss a tactical award for that reason. All right. So if I take anything away, please take that. All right. Thank all you guys for being there, man. I really appreciate you. Make sure you follow the podcast on all the social media sites to stay up to date on everything that is going on. getting back on track, man. I saw that Freon Leon came on. Blogger, what is up, brother? Getting ready to end now, buddy. Sorry. Gil was panhandling. Shut up. God damn it, rookie. I can't look at your comments. You messed me up. What was I going to say? Yeah, I saw Freon Leon came in. He said, oh, I thought the show went away. Yes, I had a little downtime. I apologize, but I will be back here every Wednesday. I thank you guys for coming back. So every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be here, whether it's a guest or myself. I am changing some things around with the show. The background screens are going to change. Some different things is happening. Also, some of the guests that I have on, I want it to be technical based. Friends, stuff like that. Some of these people that are coming on wanting to sell their stuff, even though they were paying me to come on, and some were good and some weren't. I'm not fucking doing them anymore. So that shit's coming to an end. Unless I have a meeting with them before I talk to them, it seems like it'll be good. Otherwise, I'd rather sit here by myself and just talk to you guys. Those episodes do just as good, if not better, than these people. So definitely making some changes. So thank you guys. I appreciate you with that. I'm going to close this motherfucker out. Guys, remember to keep your head on a swivel. All right. We live in a crazy world. I don't care if it's driving, whatever it is, man. Just please be safe. I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way that you left. And like I said, it's crazy. All right. Give a shit about other people. All right. Give back to the trade. Give back to somebody you work with, whether it's teaching, whether it's just caring. I always say some of the little things, man, like just notice people, just be a human, man. Put out positivity into the world. You know, if you see somebody that is, they're always at work on time, and all of a sudden, you know, years straight, and all of a sudden now you notice that they're not. Say something to them. Hey, is everything all right, man? There's a lot of people going through stuff, including yourself. Just be there to help somebody else. All right. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Whether it's in the trade, whatever it is. There's a podcast, YouTube videos, an online course, whatever it is. All right. Keep doing what you got to do to be safe. And with that being said, I love you, mofos. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. This podcast is therapy to me. I should have called it HVAC therapy, to be honest with you. Nobody take that. I'm going to buy these rights just in case. But I appreciate you guys, man. I love being here, and thank you guys for being loyal and coming back to me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry, some of you were late. Everett, what is up, my man? Sorry. I gotta go, my man. Blogger, thanks for coming in late. Everybody else that's been here, I appreciate you. Thank you to my moderators, Mr. HVAC Rookie, my brother from another mother, Scott. I appreciate you, my man. Mr. Zeke, you as well, brother. Mr. Jason Johnson, Mr. Coolinwood Kraus, and I think that was the only ones in here. I think Adrian was in here as well. But thank all of you. It was great to see everybody. Until next week, talk to you later.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KB Jr.